I'd like to call the Tuesday, December 17th, 2024 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Andrea Smith, lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I will second that. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Public comment. Anything?
Nothing yet. We just went live.
Employee recognition.
We're holding off on that until the next, we've got an employee that's absent, so next Board of Works meeting, please.
Clerk Treasurer, claims approval.
We have civil city payroll in the amount of $525,165.70.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second that. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Civil city claims in the amount of $640,224.53.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Sewage claims in the amount of $100,746.12.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Water claims in the amount of $127,942.92.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
And then the last thing I wanted to request of the board is permission to pay 2024 year-end invoices that will get through the end of the year, through December 31st. If we could continue to cut checks for invoices through 2024, then it won't impact 2025 budgets. So we do this, we ask this every year.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Brief department head reports. Andrea Smith, HR.
Good morning, board members, and happy holidays to all. This week, board members will be receiving from me all the job descriptions that were rewritten. They are rewritten from scratch, so there will not be a red line comparison to it. So that's why I was going to print all that out, but that's a waste of paper. So I will send that to you, and we can approve in the January 2025 meeting, the first meeting. You will also be getting a copy of the new policy handbook. Attorney Otis did review it. He is okay with it, and that will have track changes in it. So just keep an eye on that. Again, I did not want to waste all the paper, and this gives you a few weeks to review everything. And if you have any questions, please contact me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jespel Jarrett. Tim Warner, Water.
Good morning to the board. I just wanted to give an update on the Park Street development. Our crew should be done Friday with installing all the water main for that area, minus the Severs Road section that we're going to do in the spring. We do have 5 houses on Park Street in between Kumler and the split there at Park and 100 that we're going to be retapping onto the new main we ran through there, and then we'll be completed for the year in that area. So.
Melissa Mischke, Wastewater.
Good morning. I have nothing to report.
Tucker King, Engineering.
Good morning. Just excited, celebrating a good closeout of a year. We did a lot of great projects this year and excited to start the next one.
Courtney Parthune. Nick Otis, Legal.
I got an item on the agenda, but nothing other than that, Mayor.
Jeff Batchelor, Code.
We're working on chronic nuisance properties, getting a list from the police so we can target the top 15 calls for service. And then also last night at the council, there was a vote on RVs parking in their driveways, and that went down. It was defeated, so that's not good. That ordinance isn't going to change.
And just as an FYI, because we had one council member absent, in the absent, or with someone being absent, if it was a tie, it would be considered defeated.
Correct, yeah, the mayor doesn't have like in the United States Senate, the vice president can break ties. The mayor does not have any authority to break ties. So if it was a 3-3 vote, it would be effectively defeated because there was not a majority supporting it.
Just a little FYI.
It's good to know.
Chief Buell, Police.
No report.
Chief Snyder, Fire.
Report, John.
Roscoe, IT.
Nothing to report, I have something on the agenda.
Bert Cook. Craig Phillips, Planning. Mike Fraze. Thank you, Michael.
We're on leaf pickup. We're making quite progress on it. We're over on the I Street area, and we'll be continuing going to eat clockwise around the room. We should be hopefully by end of the second round by either Friday or Monday.
End of the second round.
Right.
And then you'll turn around,
And do one more round, which will go pretty quick.
and even with snow, you'll still,
Get the leaves.
great, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Mark Schreiber, Park Department / Prancer Palooza.
And that just happens to be what I was going to talk about. Prancer Palooza was held this last Sunday, had a great turnout. Really turned out to be a wonderful event, so thank you to all involved. We had a lot of partnerships in that, a lot of opportunities to give to local charities. So again, turned out to be a wonderful community event and a great celebration of the 35th anniversary of Prancer. We have some great upcoming things at the Civic with the Christmas spirit still going. We have the Christmas Wizards on Friday, which is a tribute to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. They were here last year and were just amazing, so people really wanted them back. And then we've got a couple great concerts to finish out the year. The Boy Band Review with Pop Rocks is on December 27th, so I'm sure there's a lot of ladies out there that would love to relive the boy band years, and come check that one out on December 27th.
Mark, what is your favorite boy band?
Oh, man. You know, that's like
Backstreet Boys,
that's like asking somebody to pick their favorite child, Mayor. I mean, that's is it NSYNC, 98 Degrees?
Oh, man.
See, I could
Came up
actually
with
name
them.
some.
Wow.
Yeah, you know more about that than Taylor Swift.
Well
That's-
done.
Well, I'm old.
I think Courtney probably had a New Kids on the Block lunch pail back.
You can see it all on December 27th. And then on December 28th, a little more in my lane, Hollywood Nights, a tribute to Bob Seger in the Silver Bullet Band. That should be really good. They're a national touring band. All of these are national touring bands. Should be really great shows to finish out the year. Very, very pleased with what's happened at the Civic this year, and as with all of our parks, facilities, and programs, but some great shows.
Congratulations.
Mark, I had just a question on the bands, because some people on social media are critical that we often just have cover bands, and I know we've had some bigger bands, and you and I have talked, and like making the numbers work, the price difference is significant, and it seems like that's kind of a sweet spot based off of the amount of tickets we can sell and
Sure.
price points, right?
Yeah, and I think that's exactly it. You have to look at the venue size, you have to look at the market, and you have to look at who could you potentially get for that potential price. And when we have brought in bigger bands, I mean, we do have the potential to do better there, but you know, people have really come out for them too. I mean, let's not downplay the fact that people are enjoying these concerts.
Right.
And just because some people maybe don't like tribute bands and they want to see more original artists, doesn't mean the tribute bands don't have a large following. So we've done very well with them, and we'll continue to have tribute bands, and we're going to look for other outlets as well. You know, and it doesn't always have to be bands. You know, we had a really good pro wrestling matches there back in October. We can look at other things like comedians, other things. So we're going to continue to keep branching out at the Civic and figuring out new ways to entertain the community.
How many people can you hold for a concert?
It depends on the configuration. If we did straight seats on the floor, we could probably get up to over 2,000, maybe closer to 2,500 possibly. But with the tables on the floor, we're more in the 1,300, 1,500 range.
So to kind of consider that comparison, right, if you're looking at where
what could sustain a sort of bigger band for a high dollar amount. Like, the problem is you'd have to like spread that over only 2,000 seats.
Correct.
Is pretty significant, right? The seat price would have to be incredibly high, probably higher than maybe folks would want to, invest in compared to
Right,
these other venues.
and again, an original artist band that would be popular enough to draw a large crowd generally is going to really want a high dollar amount. We wouldn't have enough
More
seats.
than 6 figures.
We wouldn't have, we wouldn't have enough seats to make that type of artist work. Now you're talking about an original artist that, maybe is on their way down, maybe just coming up, may not have as big a draw, so it's more of a risk. So you have to kind of play that out a little bit. It's not, it's not as easy as just saying we want to book the most popular acts coming through the area. It's not realistic.
How many times have you told Mayor no to Pearl Jam?
He asks me
At the Civic, it'll be outdoor.
Yeah, it'll have to be outdoor. It'll have to be huge. We're still working on it. I never say no. I just say we're working on it.
But a cage match would work in the Civic for all death of cage
Pearl Jam?
match for wrestling.
Oh, cage
That could
match,
work.
absolutely.
We would have enough seats for that. Thank you, Mr. Shriver.
Absolutely.
All right, those department heads that do not have business in front of this board, go have a great day. Nick Otis.
We can take these items together. They all relate to the new water tower on 39 North. This is, it's been a very nice negotiation with South Shore. I think it benefits both the city and what South Shore is doing up there. But asking for approval on purchase agreement, right of entry permit, and access easement agreement. And I'd ask Bert Cook, too, if he could come up and maybe speak about South Shore's partnership on this.
Good morning, Mayor and Board of Public Works. Bert Cook, Executive Director of the LaPorte Economic Advancement Partnership. So I think I would just echo what Nick said. The Chicago South Shore and South Bend Railroad, the freight line that obviously serves our community but also owns 109 acres there adjacent to the toll road. We began working with them early on in this process, identifying their site as the ideal location for the future water tower. They've been great to work with. Tony Kazakevich has kind of helped us through this process as we kind of determined the piece of property we needed and all of the relevant information to ultimately get that closed and be able to place the water tower there. So appreciate their support. I know we're looking forward to getting that project started, and I think they're happy to be able to assist us in that way.
And I would also like to add that, Tim Werner, this will be a well-marketed water tower with our logo standing proudly on the north side of the community.
It should be very in line of sight when you're driving down the toll road.
Motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Discussion.
Just real quick, too, and maybe Tim can touch on this, but this goes to, when the city annexed 39 North and made a promise to upgrade the water system. I know 39 North had previously looked at a water tower, and what was difficult for them was that if it was just going to service them, it was hard to make, I think, the water tower turn over enough. But this will be tapped into our entire system. Tim, I don't know if you want to comment on that briefly.
Yeah, one of my concerns with that area, it is going to be a 500,000 gallon tank.
What's the size of our other tanks in town, Tim?
So they're all 500,000 except for the Summit Farm. That's only a 50,000. Turnover, keeping that water fresh inside the tower, keeping the residuals up. So basically at night we'd be able to shut the plants down, let them idle, bring the water from the towers back into the interior of the city, and then refill those before the spike demand in the morning. Allowing that water back into the city system, the rest of our system, also helps with some fire protection maybe on that side of town. We weren't lacking in that area, but the more water storage you have, the better it is. What that does is it extends your time for firefighting. That's what it is. The water is there. It's how long we can produce those high flows to maintain a fire. Adding the tower to 39 North, adds 2 to 3 hours of large flows to firefighting in that area. So it was critical to to get this fire, or to get the water tower up for fire protection for the 39 North.
Further discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask what the timeline is for, how soon do we think the tank is gonna go up, the water tower?
So we're in the middle of design. We're waiting for some of the soil borings and stuff to come back for the piece of property we're talking about. Then the tower can go to the design phase. Just need to know what's underneath the ground, what structure needs to be set for the tower. The wait time on towers have come down. I know when we first started talking about it, it was in between 1.5 to 2 years. They're down to about around a year now. So hopefully we get design this summer, and we see construction either starting late next year or early the spring following.
Clerk Treasurer
And
Porte.
this is part of a finance, I just want to confirm, a finance that will be TIF paid and not user rate paid. So that hasn't happened yet, but it will. I think there's some things in the works, some engineering reports and things like that we're waiting on.
Yes.
Further comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Right of entry permit.
No, that's all
That
together.
was
That's all
yeah.
part of it, I'm sorry. So ARP obligations.
I'm sorry. Can we get a motion, this will come up, a motion for the mayor to be able to execute all necessary closing documents for the South Shore?
Do I have a motion?
Meridian Title will request that, so thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Thank you.
ARP obligations.
I think we will let Mark Schreiber and Tucker King discuss the actual projects. We have, at last night's council meeting, we amended a spending resolution, which is required as the ARP money is a federal award. So we are just cleaning up where some of the expenses, none of the line items of the ARP resolution changed, but we're adding some expenses and taking away some expenses from different projects, so kind of just cleaning up the accounting. And the ice rink and the chiller fall under what was already a line item on the resolution. That was line item, I think, Winterfest or ice rink. And then the Truesdell project and the Park Street project are already on that resolution as well, under Park Street. So just kind of shifting some costs around.
And you mentioned the ice rink, and I would like to say ARP funds were meant to have an improved, not only physical health, but also a mental health. And I think big thank you to Mark Schreiber focusing on making more of the ice rink time free. And I think the community has benefited. It seems like when we have those days, we see a lot of families, young adults that are skating, and it's been very positive.
Can I mention something too, real quick? On the legal side of it, the reason that we did this last night at the council and then with you guys today, we have to allocate this money by the end of 2024 and then have to spend it by 2025. So just kind of cleaning up, as Courtney pointed out, where these funds are going, and then Mark can explain the specific projects.
Mr. Schreiber.
Yeah, so, and just to hit on real quickly, as the mayor said, we have been offering free skate Fridays and some buy one, get one skate Sundays. And the free skate Fridays especially have been well attended. We have almost 400 people have skated through the first 3 weekends. If that should stay on pace, we certainly have our best year yet. So we appreciate all of the sponsors and everybody who's helped out. And one thing I also want to point out is, we are making this as our final year of making the purchase of the rink. And we've had some great partners who have worked with us to make previous payments on that, including the Park Foundation, the Urban Enterprise Association, HFL, and the Convention and Visitors Bureau that have helped us get to this point. And I think, again, these are money's well spent in that it is giving people recreational things to do in the wintertime. So it's outstanding. So we do have two things on here. One is to make our final payment, actually just the final half of our payment to Ice Rink Ice Games 88 is the entity in which we bought the rink from, and also the services of setting up the rink. We have a payment of $9,750. That is half of what we still owe them. And then also, we will be paying for the chiller rental, which is $27,030, I believe, for this year.
I did want to note, because this is a federal award and I want it in the minutes, that the ice rink itself, Ice Games 88 LLC, the contract originally came through Board of Works on April 9th, 2022. So the full amount of the contract has already been awarded, but we're obligating $9,750 of ARP money to pay the rest of that contract. And then similarly, the United Rentals Power and HVAC was a Sourcewell contract, so that was on the state's QPA site, which means they already did the bidding for us, so that qualifies as it qualifies us to spend federal award money on it. Just wanted that in the minutes, thank you.
So where does that put us in terms of the rink? Then this will be last payment?
That pays the rink off.
That's
Yep.
okay.
Yeah,
That
so
pays
we,
the rink off.
we will fully own the rink at this point.
And what's quick question in terms of temperatures, right? We've had, I'd say in some cases, unseasonably warm December weather. At what temperature, with the chillers, at what temperature range is the ice rink, I guess, usable by skaters?
Yeah, I mean, we've had no issues to this point.
None, okay.
You know, the biggest issue you run into is obviously you don't want it to be in the 70s or 80s, but rain and wind are obviously the biggest thing with ice. But to be honest, even with the rain that we've had, we were able to build a nice enough layer with the chiller that we have this year. The chiller's the big difference maker. Last year we had some mechanical issues with the chiller. This year, the chiller's been running great, and we've had no issues. So, you know, even being up into the 70s, or not 70s, I'm sorry, being up into the 50s as it has been over the last weekend or two, we've had no issues.
That's great.
Yeah, which is the ideal part of it, right? Otherwise, we're relying on Mother Nature.
And then also, to remind everybody, this was a test, the ice rink, to see how the community felt. And I think we've reached a price point situation that people in the community, if they can afford it, or if it's available, they'll use it. And I think that will lead to further discussions down the road of what does an ice rink potentially look like? Where does it go if we were to consider that? And I personally like the downtown. It brings people to our downtown. And with Lincoln Walk happening and removing the truck traffic off of downtown, I think we'll really have an opportunity to do something good.
Absolutely. You know, we have 3 years of, you know, being able to look at this thing. And I think that's what it takes, to do it just once and then try to make a determination. But no, it's been good, and we've got some data behind it, and then also just some, you know, having spoken to some of the people who enjoyed it, or, you know, I think we've got a pathway forward.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Wastewater.
And then we still need to do the change order and the agreement for Truesdale. I don't know if that's for ARP funds as well.
I thought that was a part of the obligations.
Okay,
We did the
that's-
chiller.
that's
We did
fine.
the ice rink chiller.
I'm gonna
9,000.
just get some information in the minutes then. I just want to make sure that.
Let's go ahead and make a motion then separately
Right.
Okay.
for
Truesdale.
Truesdale.
Truesdale and Park Street Housing. Yep.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. And
Okay.
this, go ahead if you could clarify.
Okay, thank you. So the original contract for the Park Street project was on February 22nd, 2023, according to this change order. This change order is, and Tucker can,
Can I jump in here?
yes, explain
Okay.
the change order, but only a
Yeah.
portion of this is going to be ARP obligated.
Yeah, so the contract she's talking about is a different contract we have with HRP as a part of our Letters and Numbers project, actually. Because of the addition of the service lines for the Park Street project would be outside of the scope, essentially, of their contract with us for the Park Street project, we are like retroactive, or we're using the letters and numbers contract to add funds to, or add a change order to that contract to be able to get these service lines on this project, since we already have HRP on site, and their price was so much cheaper in comparison to Reith and Riley on the project. So this is going to allow us to get all 75 of the service lines outside of the RDC-funded portion of that project done. So, putting ARP money into infrastructure like it's supposed to be.
And this is, so to clarify, HRP had the letter and number street. We've added this portion of Park Street for those 75 service lines to be added to HRP that will pay using these funds.
And the only portion of this change order that will be paid from ARP funds is $89,050. The rest of that change order will be paid by the water department.
Yes.
But we have to obligate the ARP money on this change order.
So,
Accounting stuff, yes.
so given these
Federal grant.
changes, or, change order, but the changes to the change order and how this works, I mean, is there a bid requirement on this one? With,
It was already bid,
so, already bid, and then
we already have,
HRP, was HRP the low bidder on this?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're two separate contracts, because the amount added to this contract with this change, to their current Park Street contract with this change order would exceed whatever amount it is.
Allowance, yeah.
Yeah, we're using the letters and numbers contract, just adding that change order onto that contract for that purpose, because they're already the low bidder, and there's kind of a time crunch related to this project, as the developer wants to put roads in before the spring begins, essentially.
So given that.
We don't want to have to cut up the service lines to put the road in.
And it makes sense to have HRP in there. They're installing the sewer laterals for each unit out there. The building codes say they have to be 10 foot apart. Once you already put in a lateral and then you go to dig right next to it, it creates some problems. So they can be done at the same time, which is a safer and more efficient way to get the job done.
Is that,
Yeah.
could that result in any savings to us from the work, for the
I
work
mean, it
being
is
done?
saving us money, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have an exact figure in front of me, but it would be significant to have to take this, rebid it, do a whole new contract
Right.
just for
Yeah.
this small portion of that project,
And then we
essentially.
don't, more importantly, we don't want to have to cut open a new road
Yeah.
to put the service lines in.
It
after
takes the
fact.
mobilization fees out of it. They're already there on site, so there is significant savings into allowing that contractor on site to do this work.
Yeah,
Okay.
But I want to make sure you understand what
Why
we're
we're
doing
doing it.
and why we're doing before we vote.
And then I'll go over Truesdale after that, in case there's any questions on Park Street, then we got to just go over Truesdale real quick, and then we can get a vote.
Okay. I'm just thinking, because mainly just
have
thinking of
vote. Oh, this
whatever the
isn't part of
savings, and
it. Yeah.
efficiency and savings are there, that we capture that for the city versus
oh, yeah, no, it's,
additional sort of profit margin.
it is for us, yes.
And from a speed perspective, so we
that's-
can, the homes can be built in the spring, we'll already have all this done.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a significant savings for us and for the developer too, honestly, because he's not gonna have to go and repair curbs and roads when he gets those put in, and we have to come back and put service lines in. It just makes sense for us to do it all at one time, both monetarily and just physically, like
Yeah.
the real world construction aspect of it too.
So I do have a motion and a second. Take a moment, please ask any questions.
And the change order amount for this one is 28,000.
No,
No.
Change order amount is
231,000.
$231,000, but of that, $89,050 will be ARP, and the rest of those funds will come from the water fund.
Okay, I see.
Yes,
So we're obligating $89,050, but you're approving the entire change order.
Okay.
And then Truesdale, real quick, do you want to do that one with
Let's
this
do
vote?
that separate, because
okay.
we already have a motion, so.
Got it.
Right, for
take
just
a
this
moment here,
one.
Make sure all your questions are answered.
And just so all of that, with all kind of money's allocated, right, budgeted, it's been bid, and we're just allocating at this point?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes, exactly.
Moving different things from different buckets.
Yes.
exactly.
That's
Yes.
what it is. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
It's government. making it happen. But I do appreciate the flexibility, because even though we have, there are processes in place, we moved pretty quick on this to make it
Well, I mean,
happen.
truly, like if this were a sort of a private enterprise, you just make these decisions, right? If it's, but in this case, got to your point, like, make sure it's all on the record.
It's a federal award, and we've got to
Where the money's
obligate.
moving.
Yep, there are rules, yep.
Thank you for all the
Okay.
detail.
Yeah.
Further
agreed.
comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Truesdale reconstruction.
So I'll go over that one. If you want to hop in, you can. I'm just going over I don't know the projects, I just look at the contracts and money. Truesdale was approved on March 7th, 2023. Again, that was bid out as is federally required. So that was approved, March 7th, 2023. A portion of those funds were to be paid from the RDC funds, the TIFs. What we are going to do is, or what we're asking to do, is to obligate, I think it was 409, I don't have the resolution in front of me, I'm sorry, about 498,000 of ARP funds to Truesdale in lieu of spending RDC funds. So we are asking to obligate the rest of the money that we have left in ARP funds, which is around 498,000, to the Truesdale project. And that's to Reith Riley Construction.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
So I do have a motion and a second, and this will free up TIF money in the future, because we've been heavy with all the projects that Mr. Cook and our team have done. This is going to free up some money and put ARP dollars to good use, because when you look at Truesdale, all the activity on Truesdale, it definitely meets that physical health and the mental health portion. So I do have a motion and a second. Please ask questions.
So this, Courtney, did I hear you say that this is the remainder of the ARP funds?
Correct.
Okay.
Which had to
To
be
obligate,
obligated.
not to pay out yet, but to
Right, yeah,
obligate.
To obligate,
Yep.
okay. Well, to your point, Mayor, I mean, really, you've heard me years ago complain about that road was one of the worst in LaPorte,
Yeah.
especially being right around, kind of the jewels that we have of the lakes and the parks. And, I mean, I don't, just.
I better
It really-
see
it
you out
really-
there
I
on a
mean, honestly,
bike now.
It really bothered me that, like, we have all this great stuff in that horrible road. So it's great to see a change, and I've been on there many times, on the road, on the trail. Even in,
kinda
even in the
seems
skate,
like
even in the, I guess, the skate park, although I'm on a bike not really designed for that, but, yeah, anyway. So, no, it's great to see that these changes have been in place, and it's a beautiful place to go, and it's a great place to go, walk, ride, take your pets, whatever it is, so, well done.
Further comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Wastewater, McClung Road.
So the McClung Road project, this is change order number 3. It's a time extension. There were weather delays and other unanticipated delays that caused this, and there are no costs associated with the change order. It's just proving that there is a change and that the time deadlines are going to change.
So
This is
just
the
to,
best kind.
yeah, just confirming that the only changes are
Dates.
dates.
Dates, that's correct.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, sorry.
Motion and a second, discussion.
What is the new date? Sorry, I must be looking at the wrong paper.
I don't have those dates in front of me, but I do think it's going to be early spring, late winter-ish time, maybe February, March.
They've been extended, not shortened.
Correct.
Yeah.
So is our motion is not to extend to a certain time window?
I don't know. I think
the extension is for, so if the contractor doesn't complete the work in the original amount of time, there's penalties that are involved. So because of the weather situation and everything out there, that the city and the contractors come to agreement to push that timeline out. That way they don't acquire any penalty damages from extending the job out.
Because we could have weather issues.
And we have
Anytime.
already out there.
I think it was, it says on here, change in contract time from December 18th to January 17th. Substantial completion.
Yeah, and
Does
I
that
think some of
sound
that is also allowing the 6-month time period for the people in that area to be able to put in the E1 grinder pump and hook onto the system. We've extended that time out for the residents also.
Oh, okay, so the original was to 117 final, and then it's extended 30 days. Okay, that's what I didn't see that at first, so I'm just trying to, make sure it wasn't an indefinite extension.
Yeah, that would be undesirable.
But, yeah, I was gonna say, that kind of violates the purpose of having the final, right? Yeah. Thank you.
So I do have a motion and a second. Discussion? Further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next.
Then I have the McClung Road contractor application for payment number 5 in the amount of $61,885.85.
Make a motion for payment.
Second?
Motion and a second. Discussion. And this was for which portion?
It's grinder pumps on this one too, right?
Yeah, so that's the
Grinder.
same area for the
Yeah.
grinder pumps for the residents in that area.
Further discussion?
So it says 5% completed, but that amount is like over 10%.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you,
Well,
Mark.
just looking at well, under the retainage, it's 5% work completed. Or do you add those work completed and stored materials and kind of for that 10%? Okay, I
Yes.
see.
Yeah.
Further comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Tim Warner.
What you have before you is a proposal from Nice Engineering to do the engineering work associated with the Indiana Ave project. There's a small section from Kingsbury to about the museum that doesn't have water main at this time. So in part of the planning through IDOT and just looking at the area, if you imagine traveling south on Indiana Ave, the south side of that southbound lane on the south side of it's real marshy, wet. Don't see a lot of development going in that area. It would cost a lot to put main in there. And then on the north side, IDOT's got that easement pretty tied up with the 72-inch line that's coming to the sewer plant. So we're gonna turn off of Kingsbury and go down Crescent. Crescent right now doesn't have main until where it meets 18th Street. That will get another loop into the main, the 12-inch main that's coming down Indiana Ave, tie into the 18 on Boyd, which will help the Microsoft area just for redundancy, getting more water flow in that area. And we'll also be able to pick up some customers along the way on Crescent that don't have water main right now that are on wells. I know in the past 5 years.
Crescent?
Yeah, right where 18th and Crescent split, that little section that goes to Kingsbury. There's no water main on that section, and it's kind of far to run service lines. The past 5 years, out of those 5-6 people, I've been contacted by 3 or 4 of them when you guys running water main down here. So this was just kind of tying everything together and switching our plans around to not only still be able to provide that loop and fire flow feed to that area, but also pick up some customers along the way. So the amount is not to exceed $41,500. We're going to bring that cost down quite a bit. If you look at the services or the scope, the last 2, the plans and basically the bidding process, we should be able to cut that out because we're going to do that work in-house. So we're hoping this is going to be less than the 41.5. Well, it will be less than the 41.5. But I just wanted to include that in case something came up and we had to go through the bidding process. We didn't have to come back to the board. This number also includes $5,000 worth of survey work that's already been completed to determine which way we were going to go on the project. And myself and Nice Engineering attending some IDOT meetings to kind of work through this. So.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Do you think, Mr. Werner, that as you move north at Kingsbury Ave and 35, that could be a great place for a roundabout?
Yeah, sure. I think it would be a nice place for it. As long as we have those plans where I don't have to move that water main again.
Yeah, avoid that, right? Interesting, because it is a spot where high-speed
It is.
traffic is coming in.
It is.
And it's not so evident, right, because it's still the two-lane, even though the speed limits drop really quickly right
does.
there.
I get to drive that every day, as does Miss Romine, and this morning I was stuck there for a period of time because there was a school bus coming off of your road, and then, you know, it can't stop in the middle. And then if you turn onto Indiana coming off of either Hurst Street or Kingsbury, people are flying still. It is bad. I'm familiar with some really serious crashes of people turning left onto Woodlawn, which would be the passing lane. So people start gunning it and somebody's turning left. It's bad. I mean, I'm sure our police and fire have responded to some bad accidents. So I would welcome anything NDOT could do to improve that. It's not pedestrian friendly either, at all.
It really
Yeah.
is not, especially, and my kids walk to the schools, so, agreed.
So I do have a motion and a second. Further comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Tucker King, pay application number 3.
Yeah, so this is kind of back onto the Park Street project. This is the pay application for HRP for the November project in the amount of $119,225. And, I mean, we're getting rather close to finishing this contract out. With that addition of the service lines, they think that'll be the final nail in the coffin, and the end of their work will align closely with the end of our water department's work out there. So within the next week or so.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, and this work has been completed.
It has not yet been completed.
Okay.
We just got the change order done 2 items ago. Well, the amount, okay, sorry, I apologize. The pay application is for work completed, yes.
And what work, was this the extension?
This would be the sewer work through, I don't know the exact sections that they completed, but the southern portion connecting to the water, or the sewer main Reith and Riley had run to the south side of that project. So essentially from the midpoint of the interior road of the new subdivision out to a structure at the southern tip of the triangle where 100 and Park Street meet, essentially.
But they'll continue the remaining portion of the work.
Yeah, there's really not that much remaining left on the sewer contract. And then with this addition of the water work, then they'll come in and finish the water work as they do the sewer services.
Further comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Roscoe Hoffman, proven IT contract. And I will say right off the bat, amazing, great, focused work, relentless on moving forward with this contract.
Thank you, sir. Good team effort. So what you have before you, this is just a sheet that is the breakdown of the figures for the contract. There's just a line addition in the contract that has nothing to do with the figures here that might need to be changed. So the request is really if you can sign this and approve this amount, that's the contract amount that we'd be agreeing to moving from the old. This is a 3-year contract that this will be, so.
This will be a 3-year contract.
Yes, sir.
And just for clarification, so say that again, the total will be,
13,000.
So, yeah. So on that sheet right there, you see a breakdown, you see a total, the total that you see is for the workstations and the server cost. But there should be an addition, there's a $1,000 addition that's for office, our monthly pay for office, and then there's also the data, the addition that's for fire department and.
The 1650 will be added to the 11.2.
Yes, sir,
But this will
which-
be an overall savings
Oh, yes, sir.
from where we were
Me
based
too.
on his work.
And can I jump in here a little bit? This is, from what I understand, is called a knock-sock contract. So this gives us all of the same that we've had in the past, the same, managed services that we've had in the past, except for we're not going to be eligible for the Proven IT Help Desk. So if a department needs Proven IT for some reason, everyone's going through Roscoe now, so there's no reason to have the help desk anymore. If they need it, they'll just pay for that out of their own, on an hourly basis, out of their own budget. But
So that, and yes, just like you said, NOCSOC, the NOCSOC is Network Operations and Security Operations Contract, is what that, and what this is so the help desk that is being removed is for the workstations. They haven't really been touching our workstations. What it does include, though, is still help desk for the server and firewall. So they will still continue that side, which is part of what a NOCSOC agreement is making sure that the network side is still taken care of.
which is important for our overall cybersecurity, our cybersecurity insurance, keeping us up to date on everything that the city needs. I was reading an article that 44% of cyber attacks last year were done on municipalities. So we're trying to keep up with everything. We're lucky to have Roscoe here, keeping us on the up and up, and we're, grateful for the help from Proven IT as well.
And this will still allow Roscoe with his interns that'll be coming this year to continue to do that work. We've seen what happens with other local government entities if they're attacked, and Roscoe has kept us extremely safe along with Proven IT, and we appreciate that because it only takes once.
Takes, and and I've shared it with so many, I've been doing this for about 15 years. It takes one finger, is all it takes. One of the things we've been doing is, and I'm going to be sending out emails today. I've been doing still the active simulations. People who think that you're getting an email, but it's really a test email coming from me. And those who fail, we need to know who fails because there's tests that need to happen and you have to follow through with the test. If you don't follow through with the test, it's going to be very hard logging into your computer when I change your password. But that's for the safety of the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Spock. So.
Do I have a motion?
No, I'll make a motion to approve.
The actual contract is being changed. I mean, it's not,
Changed, yeah.
there's nothing that's changing except for they're taking out some CrowdStrike language that Roscoe is getting the cost of CrowdStrike for free from the state. So that's the only language that has to change. It's with their attorneys right now. So we're asking for your approval for the contract, and you'll sign it once we receive the contract. But this is the cost of the contract.
So I do have a motion and a second. Further comments?
So do not click anything unless you absolutely know where it's coming from, right?
And
expected
I'd
it,
share
right?
with
I mean,
people,
that's-
it's better to annoy me
Yeah.
with, is this valid, or than to annoy me with, I think I have a virus.
Yeah.
Because you may think you have a virus yourself, but everybody else has been affected.
And we see it all the time in our office. People try to change their direct. Chief Snyder has tried to change his direct deposit with me. That's not really Chief Snyder, probably 32 times since I've started here. So, we see those things all the time, and
Yes.
We need
I get
it.
emails from mayor, and yeah, it's not mayor.
I think we're probably certainly small enough that a quick phone call or a
Yes, ma'am.
text message can
Yes,
kind of
sir.
confirm
Excuse
whether it's something that's truly.
It's much
a
better
request,
that way,
yeah.
honestly, it's much better that way because they look for the individual. A brute force attack goes for the network, but what a lot of them try to do is they look for the individual. And that individual, once I get into that person's computer, has the admin logged in there. If they haven't, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, just look for a finger. So much
Appreciate
finger.
your work, yeah.
Best antivirus.
Further comments?
I'm pretty sure there was a fish attempt coming through, or maybe it was a test, I don't know, but,
There was already,
okay.
yeah. There will be another.
All in favor?
Sorry? Did Mark pass? Mark did
I just
pass.
delete them.
All right, all in favor?
Report, right,
Aye.
report, you got the report button.
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
We do have a member Romine, aye. All in favor?
I'd
Approved. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Unfinished business. One thing I'd like to talk about, Merry Christmas to everybody. We've had a great year. Thank you to everyone here and your teams that have made a difference in lives of our residents. It is the Christmas season. Merry Christmas to all. And I will tell you, there are many organizations, nonprofits, and so forth that help those families in need, that need a little love. One is the Salvation Army. You know, and the one thing that comes to mind is the backpack program, where they give over 400 backpacks per week to families at schools that may need a little extra food. They may have some food insecurities, and it's a great program, but there are many programs that the Salvation Army provides. So with that, I would like to turn to LaPorte versus Michigan City. In addition to supporting the Salvation Army, there's not a better rivalry between LaPorte and City. Again, they are somewhat feeling very confident with the new administration, which we love working with and appreciate, except for this day coming Friday. When this Friday comes, it's back to LaPorte versus City and us rolling over them with an undefeated record of support financially. So please dig into all your pocketbooks on this team here. Loyalty will be checked, LaPorte versus City, and we're going to have a great day this Friday to continue to remind Michigan City who's in charge when it comes to Salvation Army.
If I recall, there's like a QR code option, right, to donate?
There is.
Is there a, how can we make sure that if we do that, that it is allocated to,
We will be accepting checks all week. I'd prefer, instead of a QR code, a check, so we can rally, so there's not that mix-up, because I see that Michigan City's already gaining or garnering funds.
Oh, they're
now
gaining
ahead of
momentum,
time.
huh?
Yeah. And so hopefully we'll get a better effort this year from them, so we can continue this, but we're ready, so. And I will announce where maybe very soon, where the new location could be to donate in LaPorte this Friday. So there could be a new location.
Oh.
That's why we're holding, we'll have a drum roll and everything, so.
Great.
Any other comments to that? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Have a great day and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays,
Oh,
and
it's a
all
little
in between.
complicated. So